Hello everyone and welcome to task number 8. In this task, we are going to deploy and test our trained linear learner model. So let's get started. If you guys remember, in the previous task, it was a very long task. So we were able to actually train our linear learner model. So we actually went there, we trained 32 models for 50 epochs, and we had we made sure that we tried to save money as well using the spot instances. So we saved a little bit of money in there. And if you scroll down here, now I have my trained model, and now I'm pretty much ready to deploy that model. So deploying the model using SageMaker is actually very simple. You can say linear.deploy. You can feed it in here my initial instance count, how many instances you're looking at. I just have one. And you can specify the instance type as well. Here I'm specifying M4 X large, and that will be my linear regressor. Very, very simple. Shift enter. Okay. And what you guys notice is that, again, to deploy the endpoint, it will take, I would say, around 5 minutes approximately. So you will find that dashes start to appear in here, and then you will find an exclamation mark at the end, marking the completion of the endpoint deployment process. And basically, you guys can notice that here it's shown busy, okay? And here there is asterisk. That means it's thinking, it's doing something. Once it's done, you should find number here, and you should find here as shown as idle. And as you guys can see, the second dash appeared here. It will take a little bit of while until the exclamation mark appeared. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm actually gonna go ahead and continue with the explaining all the lines of code until the endpoint is available. The next step is, in order to make inferences on my model, I need to pass in the data in a text and CSV format. So basically, these are the 3 lines of code that does that magic for me. So content type, which is what we have here, overrides the data that will be passed to the deployed model, since the deployed model expects my data in a text and CSV format. Okay, so here all what I'm doing is just I am basically when I feed in my data, it will be converted into text CSV format, and then I will be able to make inferences on my endpoint. And now I'm pretty much ready to take my linear regressor, apply the predict method to it, and then feed it in my X test data, and that will generate here my results. And actually, when the endpoint is deployed and I'm actually able to go here and visualize the results, you will find that the results are shown in a JSON format. Okay, so after the results are back in a JSON format, I need to simply iterate through the results and take a look at and obtain the value corresponding to the score. I know it sounds a little bit confusing without watching it. So what I'm going to do, be able to visualize the results, and it will be a much better experience for you guys. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes. All right, so now I'm back and the endpoint is deployed. So you guys can see exclamation mark is here, and the notebook here is idle. So now I'm good and no asterisk anymore. So what I could do right now, I can run these cells, and here I can make predictions. So I'm gonna pass it along my testing data and get the results. I can take a look at my results, and here we go. So as you guys can see, I have 9 sample or 9 data points, and that's the return. That's the feedback that I got after I invoked my endpoint. So I pass it along the testing data to my endpoint, and I was able to obtain results, which is amazing. So what I could do right now, what I only care about is I only need these numbers. That's what I'm looking for. I just need these numbers. I just want to ignore the score thing. So here, this just simple code will do this trick for me. So I'm going to say for, I'm going to create a for loop for r in results, which is what I have here, of predictions. So I'm going to say go ahead to my results, go to my predictions, you guys can see here. And what I need to do is I need to obtain whatever value corresponding to my score. So I'm going to say again, go ahead to my score and obtain that in a NumPy array and obtain that in a predictions. So if you actually run that, take a look at it. Here we go. So I only obtained the values of the numbers. So I have 121, I have 616 here, I have 83, and so on. Let's take a look at the shape. I should find 9. Okay, looks great. And now I am pretty much ready to just plot my testing data versus my model predictions. So I can simply say plt.scatter. I can plot x-test versus y-test, and that will be in color gray. And then I can plot simply my x-test versus my predictions, which is what I have here. And I'm going to plot that in a straight line format because I didn't use scatter. I used plt.plot. And I selected here the color to be red. And I'm just going to put an X label and Y label and put a title, shift enter, and here we go. So as you guys notice, here I have my 9 data points for the testing data. And that's the model. Again, looks great. And that's it. All what I need to do, and please do not forget to run this. You need to delete the endpoint just to make sure that you don't incur any cost. Okay, so you have to make sure, because again, if you leave that endpoint running, you will be paying for it. Okay, so make sure that you conclude our case study. Please note that I skipped a lot of concepts in here to try to make it as simple as possible. So we haven't done any feature engineering. We haven't filled and metrics such as R-square, adjusted R-square. All these will gonna be covered in the next case study. Okay, so we're gonna deal with a lot more advanced data, and we're gonna deal with more complex as well data set. So please stay tuned and please keep going, and let's go ahead and review what we have done in this case study. So in this case study, we started with an understanding of the problem statement and business case. Task number 2, we imported our libraries and data sets, and then we performed visualization and exploratory data analysis. We did histograms, we did the pair plot, we did the correlations, we tried the reg plots, and then in task 4, we created our training and testing data sets, and then keep going. And then here we have been able to split the data into training and testing. And then we have been able to train a linear regression model in sklearn. Again, we haven't done any SageMaker here yet. And then we evaluated the model. And then we have been able to train a linear regression model or a linear learner model using SageMaker. And we have been able to deploy our endpoint afterwards here in the last task, in task number 8. And that simply concludes the case study. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please enjoy AWS SageMaker practical course, and I will see you guys in future case studies.